This episode is brought to you by Pete's. Few things start your day better than a good coffee. That's why Pete's hand roasts their coffee from a specific selection of high-quality beans. And they don't just put those beans into anyone's hands. Pete's trains their roasters for 10,000 hours so they can master the roast that gives you the most. Pete's Coffee. Coffee for coffee people. Find Pete's online or at your local retailer.
We've all been there before. You open the fridge looking for a snack and something smells funky. You rummage deep within its depths and find several items rotting. This week it could be a moldy block of cheese, produce that's past the point of no return, and maybe some raw burger patties that are well past their expiration date. Across America, this weekly toss happens all too often, and it's not just taking place in homes. Grocery stores and restaurants also end up with a lot of unbought items or leftover prepared food that gets tossed. According to a late 2021 report by the Environmental Protection Agency, researchers found that about 35% of the overall U.S. food supply still ends up in landfills. This equates to about 30 million tons of produce, meat, dairy, and other items. Compare this number to other high-income countries, and our waste is about a third higher than the average. There are several factors feeding into this crisis, however. Experts say the three biggest contributors are supermarkets, restaurants, and consumers. In your own day-to-day, how can you reduce what ends up in the bin?
Whether that is meal prepping before you go grocery shopping, making lists of foods so you ensure you're not overbuying, turning your leftovers into tasty new meals, adding something to it so it doesn't get stale, anything that you can do to reduce food waste.
That's Sarah Sadoff, the North American spokesperson for Too Good To Go, an app that connects consumers with unsold items and meals at community restaurants and stores. Essentially, businesses on the app post what foods, prepared items, or meals they have to offer that day. This food isn't free, but is priced at a steep discount. The interesting concept began in 2016 in Denmark. The founders came in with the goal of cutting down food waste in the city and started by creating a basic desktop website and going in person to get nearby restaurants and markets to sign up.
The mission grew from there to also be able to provide businesses with a way to recoup otherwise lost revenue that they would have to lose by throwing out food, and then also to add value to consumers who were paying upwards of, $30, $40, $50 for a bag of food that they could get at a steep discount.
Today, there's a mobile app version, and owners who are signed up can easily post daily offerings. Some also sell mystery bags that can contain an assortment of food items for a set lower price. Once the post is live, it goes to the first person who claims it and picks it up.
Everything you see on the app is local to you. So when you open the app, you'll put in probably a radius of 20 to 30 miles, and you're seeing just the surplus supply that is available in that radius. You're not seeing things that are available in Copenhagen or London, England, or Spain, for example. You really are seeing what is local to your marketplace, to that time of day that works for you. And then you can even filter down to the level of the kinds of bags that you'd like. So grocery bags or bread bags. And all of that is representative of the food that happens to be surplus in the marketplace that you live in. And that can even be something that's seasonal. So potentially, in the US where we have Thanksgiving, there might be Thanksgiving bags that they don't have in Europe. At the same time, there might be different kinds of local items that are for sale in different parts of Europe that we might not have, or there might be the same thing, local things throughout the country that you're seeing in different markets. So the really interesting part about the app is regardless of where you go and where you use it, it's always going to be a unique experience to that time of day, to that city, and even to the surplus that every one of those stores has at that period in time.
You might be wondering, why don't more businesses opt to donate to local pantries or shelters? One reason is that the restaurant and grocery industries have very tight margins. Being on an app like Too Good To Go can help bring in some money rather than nothing. Sadoff also mentions this other common barrier.
There are strict regulations around what can be donated, how frequently you can donate, and then how that food has to be packaged and handled for donation. And Unfortunately, that's a pretty big barrier to entry for a lot of businesses. At, potentially a manufacturing or grocery level, that's a little bit more doable. But say you're a mom and pop bakery or grocery store, you have a little market or a bodega, it's going to be difficult for you to have the kinds of pickup mechanisms in place to be able to consistently donate that food.
And that is very much a problem that still needs to be tackled. Currently, there's a lot of red tape and no consistent local network for coordinating daily transports of food from restaurants to shelters or food pantries. Much of this relies on the business owner taking initiative and having the bandwidth and income to do so. At the end of the day, food waste is a complicated issue and requires a multi-pronged effort by consumers, companies, food producers, and legislators. Every little bit helps, and new technologies connecting consumers to food is also another important avenue. To find out more about this issue and our guest, Sarah Saderoff, head to viewpointsradio.org. To learn more about Too Good To Go, check out their website at toogoodtogo.com. That's T-O-O, goodtogo.com. This story was written by our executive producer, Amira Zaveri. Our studio manager is Jason Dickey. I'm Gary Price. This segment is brought to you by the Capital One Venture X card. Earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars and 5x miles on flights when you book through Capital One Travel, plus 2x miles on all other purchases. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details. Coming up on Viewpoints.
The friend called my parents up and said she's delusional or something's happening and come get her.
The many impacts of mental illness. Then,
the judge gave me the date that I need to go. So that's so hard. Oh my goodness. I was packing like crazy, packing my clothes, packing my daughter's clothes. Oh, I'm sorry.
One woman's never-ending deportation nightmare. I'm Marty Peterson.
And I'm Gary Price. These stories in depth on your public affairs magazine, Viewpoints.
And that's Viewpoints for this week. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram to learn more about upcoming shows and find a library of past programs on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Spotify. Plus, you'll always find previous segments and more information about our guests at viewpointsradio.org. Join us again next week for another edition of Viewpoints.
The "is it morning yet?" deal. How about now? Or now? Because morning time is McDonald's breakfast time. And that's the best time of all the times.
Get any sized iced coffee for just 99 cents until 11 a.m. And sweeten the deal when you pair it with a baked apple or pumpkin and creme pie. After all, why wait to treat yourself? Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer.